Shelton, Connecticut. Shelton is a city in Fairfield County, Connecticut, United States. The population was 39,559 at the 2010 census. History. Origins. Shelton was settled by the English as part of the town of Stratford, Connecticut, in 1639. On May 15, 1656, the Court of the Colony of Connecticut in Hartford affirmed that the town of Stratford included all of the territory 12 miles, 19 kilometers, inland from Long Island Sound, between the Housatonic River and the Fairfield town line. In 1662, Stratford Selectman Lieutenant Joseph Judson, Captain Joseph Hawley and John Minor had secured all the written deeds of transfer from the Golden Hill Paugussett Indian Nation for this vast territory that comprises the present-day towns of Trumbull, Shelton, and Monroe. Shelton was split off from Stratford in 1789, as Huntington, named for Samuel Huntington. The current name originated in a manufacturing village started in the 1860s named for the Shelton Company founded by Edward N. Shelton, also founder of Housatonic Water Power Company. The rapidly growing borough of Shelton incorporated as a city in 1915 and was consolidated with the town of Huntington in 1919, establishing the present city of Shelton. Decline of Shelton's industry. Shelton was the site of one of the largest arson fires in the United States history. It happened in 1975 when the sponge rubber products plant, formerly owned by B.F. Goodrich, was set on fire. Charles Moeller, president of parent company Grand Sheet Metal Products, was acquitted of criminal charges, but in a suit under civil law, where preponderance of evidence suffices to establish a factual claim, a jury found in 1988 the insurer was entitled to disallow claims on the fire losses, based on the finding that the company's top officials arranged the fire to claim insurance money. 8 others were convicted or pleaded guilty. The explosion that destroyed the sponge rubber plant on Canal Street in 1975 marked the start of the decline of Shelton's industries. During the remainder of the 1970s and 1980s, several firms that operated factories along the banks of the Housatonic River either went out of business or relocated to areas where labor and operating costs were cheaper. In 1995, Sikorsky Aircraft closed a plant off Bridgeport Avenue that manufactured electrical components for helicopters. Rise of Shelton's office space. With the completion of Route 8, new office spaces and businesses were attracted to the town, due to its Fairfield County location coupled with low costs of doing business as opposed to places such as Stamford or Greenwich. Major firms such as Tetley Tie Communication, ITT, Black & Decker, Sikorsky Aircraft, Gamma Aviation, Chesapeake Ponds, Tetra Pak, General Electric, and Bunkramo. Over 2 million square feet, 190,000 square meters, of corporate office space spread across 12 buildings was constructed by the R.D. Skinter Corporation alone. Downtown revitalization. Efforts are underway to restore 19th-century industrial buildings in the downtown area. Those that were beyond repair were demolished in the late 1990s and early 2000s and replaced with the Veterans Memorial and a farmer's market. The 10-acre, 40,000 square meters, Riverwalk Park next to the Veterans Memorial was created on the site of the former sponge rubber plant. Other buildings along Howe Avenue, one of the city's main thoroughfares, have been restored, while developers have renovated 2 19th-century factory buildings on Bridge Street, converting them into luxury condominiums. Several downtown streets have been reconstructed as part of a streetscape improvement project. Sidewalks were reconstructed with brick and cobblestone, trees were planted, and some power lines were rerouted underground to improve the appearance of Shelton's central business district. In March 2008, Connecticut Governor M. Jody Rell announced that after negotiations with State Senator Dan DeBicella and State Representative Jason Perillo, state bond funds in the amount of $2 million would be directed toward additional infrastructure improvements, leading to over $100 million in private investment in the city's downtown. Other events. In November 2007, a tree growing on Soundview Avenue in Shelton was selected and felled to be the Rockefeller Center Christmas tree. On May 30, 2008, Producers and staff for the upcoming movie All Good Things shot one scene on Canal Street. In downtown Shelton. The scene was underneath the train trestle and involved one of the characters dragging a body and dumping it into the Housatonic River. On July 31, 2009, a line of heavy thunderstorms with weak rotation spawned an EF1 tornado, which touched down with wind speeds between 95 and 105 miles per hour. According to WTNH, the most concentrated damage was along the Orinoco Trail, where many trees were blown down. There were no injuries or fatalities. In November 2013, a tree located on Cazo Drive was picked to be the second Rockefeller Center Christmas tree from Shelton. Geography. According to the United States Census Bureau, the city has a total area of 31.9 square miles, 83 square kilometers, of which 30.6 square miles, 79 square kilometers, is land and 1.4 square miles, 3.6 square kilometers, or 4.26%, is water. Neighborhoods. Demographics. As of the census of 2000, there were 38,101 people, 14,190 households, and 10,543 families residing in the city. The population density was 1,246.4 people per square mile, 481.2 per square kilometer. There were 14,707 housing units at an average density of 481.1 per square mile, 185.8 per square kilometer. The racial makeup of the city was 94.44% white, 1.12% black or African American, 0.15% Native American, 2.08% Asian, 0.89% from other races, and 1.31% from two or more races. Hispanic or Latino of any race were 3.48% of the population. There were 14,190 households, out of which 32.8% had children under the age of 18 living with them, 62.9% were married couples living together, 8.5% had a female householder with no husband present, and 25.7% were non-families. 21.8% of all households were made up of individuals and 9.2% had someone living alone who was 65 years of age or older. The average household size was 2.65 and the average family size was 3.11. In the city, the population was spread out with 23.5% under the age of 18, 5.8% from 18 to 24, 30.0% from 25 to 44, 25.7% from 45 to 64, and 14.9% who were 65 years of age or older. The median age was 40 years. For every 100 females, there were 93.8 males. For every 100 females age 18 and over, there were 90.3 males. The median income for a household in the city was $67,292, and the median income for a family was $75,523. These figures had risen to $80,694 and $94,485 respectively as of a 2007 estimate. Males had a median income of $50,210 versus $36,815 for females. The per capita income for the city was $29,893. About 2.5% of families and 3.2% of the population were below the poverty line, including 3.2% of those under age 18 and 5.5% of those age 65 or over. Government and politics. Republican Mark Loretti has served as mayor since taking office in 1991. The Republican Party has controlled the city government since the 1980s. Before the 2007 elections, the Board of Aldermen consisted of 5 Republican members, 2 Citizens United members, and 1 Democratic member. Mayor Loretti was re-elected for a 14th term on November 7, 2017. The current Board of Aldermen consists of 7 Republicans and 1 Democrat. Voters in Shelton tend to lean Republican, although there are voters supporting a wide range of parties throughout the city. Both representatives from the 2nd Ward, Eric McPherson and Stanley Cudidge, 3rd Ward, John Anglace and Lynn Farrell, and 4th Ward, Jim Capra and Noreen McGaughty, are Republicans. The 1st Ward is represented by Jack Finn, the lone Democrat on the board, and Republican Anthony Simonetti. Political representation at the state level has been Republican since the 1960s. Republican State Senator Kevin Kelly of Stratford replaced Senator Dan DeBicella in 2010 after DeBicella sought election to the U.S. Congress. There are 2 state assembly districts that cover Shelton. In 2007, Republican State Representative Jason Perillo of the 113th District took office. He won in a special election following the death of Richard O. Belden, who had represented the town for 32 years. Republican State Representative Ben McGaughty of the 122nd District took office after winning a special election in 2014 following the death of previous state representative Larry Miller. At the federal level, Shelton is represented by Democratic U.S. Senators Richard Blumenthal and Chris Murphy in the United States Senate, along with the rest of the state. Representation of Shelton in the U.S. House of Representatives is split between the 3rd and 4th congressional districts, which are represented by Democratic U.S. Representatives Rosa DeLauro and Kim Himes, respectively. The boundary between the 2 congressional districts lies roughly along Route 8. Himes represents the portion of the city to the north and west of Route 8, while DeLauro represents sections of Shelton to the south and east. Shelton is a Republican stronghold in presidential elections, as the city has voted for the GOP presidential nominee in every election since 1964 when Lyndon B. Johnson carried the municipality in his landslide election. Sheriff. Shelton is currently one of the few municipalities in Connecticut with its own sheriff's department, the Shelton Sheriff's Department, whose main task is the due process within the city lines and to execute judicial warrants within the city, much like the Fairfield County Sheriff's Department did before its abolishment in December 2000. Landscape, geology, and natural environment. The city of Shelton's goal is to preserve at least 15% of the land as permanently protected, locally controlled open space in the following 3 forms: City of Shelton public open space properties, privately owned farmland protected by the purchase of development rights, and properties held by the non-profit Shelton Land Conservation Trust. As of 2009, these forms of open space amount to 13% of the city and more than 2,700 acres, 11 square kilometers. The city of Shelton owns close to 2,000 acres, 8.1 square kilometers, of public open space. Protected farmland is 411 acres, 1.66 square kilometers, and the Shelton Land Trust Organization has preserved 364 acres, 1.47 square kilometers. There are over 15 miles, 24 kilometers, of hiking trails in Shelton, including a portion of the Paugussett Blue Blazed Trail, part of a 800-mile, 1,300 kilometers, network of hiking trails throughout the state. There is opportunity for fishing, boating, geocaching and letterboxing, hiking, walking and biking. Dogs are welcomed when on leash. There is no hunting on city-owned open space, by ordinance. The City of Shelton's conservation efforts are served by a city agency in form of the Conservation Commission. The current chairman is Thomas Harbinson. Further information is maintained at the Commission's official City of Shelton web pages. Education. Shelton public schools include Shelton High School for grades 9 through 12, Shelton Intermediate School for grades 7 and 8, Perry Hill School for grades 5 and 6, and 5 primary schools for kindergarten through 4th grade, including Elizabeth Shelton Elementary, Mohegan Elementary School, Long Hill Elementary School, Booth Hill Elementary School, and Sunnyside Elementary School. Fire Department. The City of Shelton is protected by the 267-member all-volunteer Shelton Fire Department, SFD. The SFD consists of 4 companies operating out of 4 stations located throughout the city. There is also a board of fire commissioners with a representative from each company. Fire headquarters is located at Echo Hose Hook and Ladder Company. 1 on Coram Avenue. Recreation. There are 2 private golf courses in town. Highland Golf Club of Shelton is located in the downtown Shelton area where it was founded in 1900, only 6 years after the USGA was organized. It is a 9-hole course, with 10 greens to allow alternating number 2 and number 11 where the tee shot goes over Berry Hill Road, in which an unknown original designer created difficult greens. The clubhouse's 1920s era structure still remains as the core to the current structure. Brownson Country Club is an 18-hole venue located in the Huntington section of Shelton. There is an annual competition between the clubs for the Mayor's Trophy, alternating the venue each year. The 2009 champion and holder of the trophy is Highland. Prominent companies. Notable people. On the National Register of Historic Places. Media. The Valley Independent Sentinel, an online-only, non-profit news site, launched in June 2009, thanks to the efforts of the Valley Community Foundation and the Knight Foundation. Shelton also has a weekly newspaper, the Shelton Herald. The Connecticut Post and the New Haven Register also cover the city. Both are daily papers that cover the city. Both are daily papers that cover the city. Both